What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is Bull Season 1, Episode 18, Dress to Kill. So there are three parts to this episode. You have the case part, you have the chunk part, and then you have the Bull part. And, all around, all in all, it was interesting. But, at the same time, what got a bit more focus in this episode was the actual case instead of the trial. And, honestly, I talked about this before, how this show has done a good job of, even when there's a mystery, like a murder mystery involved, and somebody's on trial that didn't do it, most of the time it's more focused on the trial, and then the mystery of it, who actually did it, is kind of pushed off to the side, and by the end of it they've solved it. Well, in this one, they actually focused a bit more on the mystery itself, and so the trial almost took back seat, and we hardly saw any of the trial. The jury selection was kind of skipped through, and then they had one scene where they were talking in the courtroom and talking about the videotape that shows that Will had stolen Nella's shoes and all that. That's about all there was for the trial part of it. The rest of it was all about who done it. They're looking at the possible suspects, they're looking at why she was killed, they're trying to figure all that out. And while that's not bad, that's not what the show has been about. They've all these episodes where there's been some sort of mystery involved, it hasn't really been a mystery. There's been no sort of investigation into it. If there is investigation, it's like a couple scenes with Danny doing something, talking to somebody in the FBI or doing some, recon or something like that. And by the end of it, she solved the case somehow. This one, everybody goes out and they're trying to figure out what happened, figure out about the shoes, they figure out the robbery of the shoes, they figure out about the people who are going to testify and what they're going to talk about. And honestly, I had it figured out because they treated it like a mystery. And there's one scene where the guy that was guilty, he was talking about Will spraying something on the dresses. But I don't know what he was spraying. It could have been arsenic. And then whenever they asked Will about it, he said, "Yeah, I was spraying some stiffener on the wedding dress," but he should know that. Well, if he should know that, then why lie about it? And at that point, I was like, it's probably him. If he's going to lie about something like that, maybe he put arsenic in a little sprayer, and maybe that's why, to make it look like Will did it. I don't know. It felt like they were trying to give me clues to help me solve the case. I'm like, I don't care about this. I want to watch them do trial stuff. I want to figure out how they're going to rewrite the narrative to help Will, to help turn this around. But ultimately, there really was none of that in this episode. So that'll be the only complaint I really have about this episode, and it is kind of a major complaint just because it doesn't really fit in with the rest of the show. But, it's only this one episode, so it's not like, oh no, the show has lost it now. And on top of that, the stuff with Chunk was pretty interesting. I mean, just seeing him have to go through the loss of his friend, seeing him have to deal with the fact that they're trying to help the guy who looks like he killed her. I mean, that's a struggle, and you can see by the end of it, he realizes obviously that he was wrong and Bull was right. But going throughout it, it felt like he was just really struggling with it, like he didn't really know how to handle it. And there are moments where he's helping Will get ready for the trial, get dressed for it, and he's trying to say, "Look, I didn't do it," and Chunk's just like not talking to him. He just keeps talking about the trial, and you could kind of see where, I don't know, it just felt like we got a bit more insight onto how Chunk deals with situations like this. I don't know, it feels like he kind of shuts off, and I wonder how much of that is based on what he had to go through as a kid, just some of the stuff that he had to deal with. I don't know, but I'll be curious to see if we figure out more about him beyond what we figured out in this episode. Then the Bull stuff wasn't that interesting. They brought back, I think her name's Diana. Ironically, I just finished watching Prison Break, and they had Hank from Royal Pains. Well, now they've got what's-her-face from Royal Pains as well on this show. She's the lawyer that Bull went up against back in his hometown, I think like the 4th or 5th episode. Then she came into town and then lost her accent, and now she's back in Texas, and she has her accent again. Okay. But they're like talking throughout most of this episode, and they're clearly like kind of in a relationship, but they don't want to say they're in a relationship, and so at the end of it, Bull hires this one girl who's kind of checking him out when they're doing all this stuff at the runway stuff, and he hires her as kind of his assistant. Well, she gives him the number of this one girl who apparently liked him, And she's just like, she wanted you to call her. And so he's just like, oh, okay. And so then he dials the number. He's like, hey, I got your message. You want to meet up? And I'm just like, let me guess, he's going to go see Diana, right? Sure enough, he goes and sees Diana. Like, they're trying to keep it hidden from us until we got to see her. Like, he's going to this house, and he's walking up to the door, and then whoever it is opens the door, and they don't show her at first. He's like, I got your message. You wanted to see me? And then it's like, oh, it's actually Diana the whole time, guys. Are you shocked? And I'm like, no, because it was so obvious. I don't know, it just seemed bizarre. Like, I don't really know what they're trying to do here, if they're trying to just make this mean a bit more or something. But all in all, like I said, not really a good episode for me. But I do see what they're trying to do with some of the character development and stuff like that. So hopefully it picks up in the next couple, over the next couple episodes. I don't know how many are left. This was the 18th one, so if there are 20, maybe there's only 2 left. If there are 22, maybe there's 4. I don't know. But I'm hoping that they have something interesting over the next 1 or 2 episodes that will kind of get me back up to speed and get me back into the show, because this episode did kind of take me out of it a little bit. But that's about it for me. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What are your likes and dislikes on this episode? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all the good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future bowl reviews, and I'll see you at the next one. Peace out.